Hello, villagers. Today we're going to be talking about tantrums.
Yes, there's a lot of conversation about that online, and there is a bit of a trend about how you deal with children with tantrums. And we have a lot to talk about in that conversation. Well, we've got our own views on that. So let's get into it. So, guys, I know you've probably been seeing it online, and if you haven't seen it, let me give you a bit of an update in the background. What has been going on is that there's a lot of conversations on TikTok, Facebook, you name it, mostly everywhere, about how to handle tantrums in your child. And one of the key things that's been pushed is the idea that you should acknowledge their feelings and then use that as an opportunity to teach them and bring about a lesson, like a learning moment in that situation. Now, I agree with actually acknowledging the child's feelings. You know, if the child has had an issue where another child has taken their toy and they're upset about it and they're having a bit of a meltdown about it, I agree with having an acknowledgement of what's happened, how they feel. However, what I find is a lot of parents are going through a situation where they're going, I acknowledge your feelings, and they're repeating themselves over and over again, and they're stuck in a bit of a rut.
So the child. So let's play it out. So a child gets upset. So they're playing with their toys. Another child takes their toy.
Yes.
And then the parent, like, they start screaming and losing it. And then the parent comes along and gets down to the child's level.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's part of it, right?
Yes.
Gets down to the child's level and then starts saying, I acknowledge your feelings.
Well, I wouldn't say the word acknowledges it. I mean, a child ain't going to be that.
I understand why you're feeling like that.
Yes.
And then what?
And says, because you're feeling sad because this person did this to you or this happened or whatever it may be. And then the idea is that when you acknowledge your child's feelings, you're going through the process of them. It's supposed to be a bit of a magic wand and for the child to kind of calm down and stop having a bit of a tantrum. However, what I found is that is not happening with a lot of parents. And so they end up having to repeat the same thing over and over again. And ain't nothing changing with that child. And to be fair, you got to think about this, guys. If I was a child and I was upset, or even as an adult, villagers, come and think about it, and you were having a bit of a moment and someone kept on saying, I acknowledge your feelings, this is what happened and stuff, and wants to use that as an opportunity to teach you something, that is not the right time. That is not a learning moment as far as I'm concerned. My thing is that you need to do the acknowledgement and probably sit with the child if they are not calm and just comfort them if they're up for comforting. But if you don't even if they don't want comforting, sit with the child and just let them go through their processes. That's not an opportunity for you to be having a teaching moment.
I think it's this one size fits all kind of situation can sometimes be a mistake. Kids are very devious creatures at times.
Devious.
Very devious. And they learn. They're very empathetic, they're very observant, and they want to try and get away with as much as possible. Like, we have a son, we have two boys. Our youngest is very, very devious at
I wouldn't
times.
quite use the word devious.
No, I'd say devious.
I think
the reason why I say devious is that if he doesn't get his own way with daddy, he'll definitely go to mummy and try to get his way, and vice versa. If he doesn't get away with mummy, he'll go to daddy and say, Daddy, mummy's done this, that, and the other, and he will try and play it off against each other. That's part of it, and it's quite natural. It happens. Most kids do this, but Noah didn't do that when he was younger, but Asher does. So I'm saying that there's two different kids are different, and I think that at times, if a child knows that you're a soft touch, all he has to do, he could just throw his dummy out the pram at any time and lose it, and then you're just going to be sitting down, saying, oh, I acknowledge your feelings all the time. He's going to take the absolute mickey out of you.
No, but I don't think it's about just acknowledging feelings, but I don't think that's an opportunity for you to be teaching a child. They're not going to learn anything in that situation when they're having a tantrum. I wouldn't learn anything if I was, even as an adult, if I'm upset and you're trying to tell me, I acknowledge your feelings and trying to explain what happened. I know what happened. That's why I'm upset. So why are you then trying to have that conversation with me about it? Because personally, I feel like you're actually
taking a mic.
Are you trying to wind me up? That's what's going to happen to me. So I don't appreciate that. So my thing is that the best thing you can do is acknowledge your feelings, yes, but move on from there swiftly and sit there with the child and comfort them. Obviously, if the child gets a bit aggressive and starts from like getting, whether verbally or physically, there's another route that you can take. And that's in another show that we're going to be able to have that conversation. But in this particular one, this is for the non-verbal aggressions and so forth. I think that you can sit with them and acknowledge their feelings and comfort them, and then just be quiet. Don't keep on repeating it over and over again. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't. Do you know what I'm saying?
I kind of agree with you. I think for me the best technique that kind of works is that, number one, you remove them from the situation, and take them to a place where you can have where you can comfort and you can calm down, and then you can have a conversation, and then talk to the child, say, okay, what's the matter, why are you feeling like this, blah blah blah, and then have that child explain to you, once they've calmed down, have the child tell you why they feel the way they're feeling, and then you have an opportunity to talk to them and kind of like talk them down from the heightened emotional state they're in, and then at that time, then you can bring them back into the station where they can make friends again and blah blah at that time, and then maybe they learn that lesson in the future. So when that situation occurs, they have a little bit more emotional tools to handle it.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that, but at the same time, I think sometimes it might not be even straight after the situation, even if they de-escalate and they're calm. I don't think that's even the time. I think I would even want to push some of the villagers to say, think about maybe doing the next day when it's all settled down. Maybe
next day.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to, once they calm, they go back in that situation. Don't use that as an opportunity to have a learning moment with them. They can go back in that situation after they've calmed down. You explain to them, you've acknowledged their feelings, and then have a proper discussion with them. Maybe the next day, not necessarily
I don't agree with that.
in the heat of things.
I don't agree. I think once they're calm at that time, then do it. Because for me, if you do it the next day, I've forgotten about he's not thinking about the next, the day. He's forgotten what happened 2 days ago. Well, Ash is quite observant, so he might remember, but then it's kind of irrelevant.
It's not.
I think it's better at the time to have not when they're kind of in that state, but afterwards, immediately afterwards, to kind of, because they still feel that the context of the conversation and the residual emotion of that conversation, and so I think it will make a stronger impact then. But if you leave it too long, the relevance and the impact will just be lost in the ocean of their world. And then it would just be like, oh, that's fine. But even that, that very calm, considered, balanced way of behaving, towards your child, it's very difficult.
It is.
It's extremely difficult because most of the time you don't have the luxury of doing one thing at a time when you've got kids.
Yeah.
You're doing 1,000 things, and, you usually give them something to do so that you can do something else, or let them play so that you're kind of doing something else. Very rarely are you just relaxing and chilling or just calmly observing them as they play. It's very rare.
It is very rare. But I've got an answer to that. I think there's opportunity there.
If you found this information helpful, please show your support by clicking like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. For more information about the topics and also the products that we discuss in our program, subscribe to our newsletter. Go onto our social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and let's carry on with the conversation. We also have a channel for children called OWARIKIDS. Check it out. All the links are in the bio.
The sense of, one of the things that I find that if your child is having a bit of a tantrum, one of the things, if you can, villagers, is there's an option of putting them in a bath or going out with them for a walk. Honestly, I do think those things
walk.
a walk. Get outside, get some fresh air. That can always help with you just de-escalating. And put them in a bath can also help them just to calm down and be chilled out. That's what I think.
A walk, maybe, but like if you're not a walking person,
True.
you're not a walking person, and bath is fully involved. It's not like you can just do it. You have to, run the bath.
Yeah.
You have to, get their toys in there. And if you're, if it's an inopportune time, it's not always convenient. I think it's reasonable to, if it's like, if you're preparing for bed and that happens, yeah, great, because it's part of that routine. But I'm not sure about it. And sometimes it's not always convenient. If it gets dark early, and you might threaten them with a walk if you don't behave yourself. We're going for a walk.
I don't know about threat. That's a bit extreme.
Well, because it's dark outside. They don't want to go for a walk. I wouldn't want to go for a walk
Or
in the
drive.
middle of the night.
What about a drive?
They'll fall asleep then.
That's it.
Fall asleep crying.
A nice drive, So you can find new ways of doing it. But
Find ways of calming, techniques of calming.
That's what I think. When I say go outside, it doesn't have to be a walk. Just going outside, whatever you can do outside, whether it be a walk, driving, whatever it is, just to kind of calm them down and give them a different scene. And also, it's good for you to then also calm down, because if you're driving or whatever you're doing outside, you're not going to be in that state of anxiety and mess to be able to be, might go in, do a different direction.
Why are you upset though?
Because I think sometimes when your child is upset, there is an impact that it has on you. I mean, you don't feel that happens to you?
Nah.
Oh, is it a man's thing then?
I don't know. I just don't. I don't like. I can distance. I'm usually quite remote from the emotional state of the child, so I can objectively just look at the situation and say, okay, I understand why you're upset, but I don't emotionally get involved in it.
Oh, I think
unless someone's kind of having a go, like, if someone's like attacking your child or the other child's just being too aggressive, you're like, whoa, let's calm down a minute. Let's not do this, and we need to have a conversation with your mother. Do you know what I mean? But unless those kind of situations occur, I don't usually get like, or sometimes I get upset that my child is being overly aggressive, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, let's
why are you doing that? So what do you do with that?
Yeah, I'm like, why? Let's have a convo. Like, why are you being aggressive to the other guy? Like, what, or the other girl? Like, what's going on? And then, then they explain. So it's not always when they're having a blown out argument. Sometimes if they're playing in an inappropriate way, then you have to pull them aside and like, let's not do that. Like, let's.
Wow. Villagers, you've heard both of our sides of what we think should be happening, and let us know what was your ways that you dealt with tantrums.
Yeah.
How did you deal with it? Because do you do a tag team where you just give a tag to your partner and just say,
Is there a disciplinarian?
Yeah.
Just wait until your father gets home.
Or your mum. So let us know. Make your comments. As always, guys, we always say to you, and we always know that it is about the village. Let's do it together. Let's get together and talk about it.